Okay, here we are. We are here for round one. We're up against Mezzle. Mezzle is known for playing Delver. And this is a pretty slow hand. Has 2 swamps and 2 5-drops and then 3 drops. It's really questionable. I think I will decide to keep. I can easily see shipping this back, but my opponent is mulliganed to 6. Hopefully that means he won't have as many cards to go too fast on us. He does not have a turn 1 Delver. And if we draw a swamp in the next 2 draws, we should be okay. Is my opponent going to miss? Yes, my opponent has missed land drop number 2. And hopefully we will not miss land drop number 3. Because we have 3 gray merchants in hand, and they will do a lot of nothing if we... There we go. Alright, so I don't want to bother with Liliana's Spectre, because if my opponent is going to miss land drops, he might be discarding anyways, so I might as well just play the Phyrexian Rager or Raga. Not good at pronouncing these things, and my opponent has conceded. Well, I'm familiar with Mezzle playing Delver. I believe he is one of the players who plays 2 days as well. So I will bring in Disfigure. Out goes Undying Evil. Bring in the Witches and Nausea. I always wonder if I want to bring in Duress. I like Duress against Burn. That's the main reason why it's in the sideboard. And I bring in the Stinkweed Imp because they have a lot of 1/1 flying creatures, and it is great. That's a great card in general against Delver. Can kill pretty much any of their threats, and then you only have to worry about being decked. Let's see, the biggest question is, what do I want to take out? They normally bring in... I will take out the Krups just because they are slow, and my opponent will be on the draw. And they normally bring in the Stormgeist, which has Undying, so the Oublette will be good against him. That kind of makes me want to take out a Chainer's Edict. I'll take out a Sign and Blow. I'm on the draw. I like taking out a Sign and Blood on the draw. Should I take out another one for a Duress? That's questionable. I will give this a go. This looks like a good hand. I will keep. I have plenty of swamps, and the witches are great at them. They have so many 1-tough creatures. And hopefully they will not flip his Delver, but when you go up against Delver, turn 1 Delvers often flip and swing for 3. Let's see what he reveals, if anything. Already reveals nothing, so at least that's good. Play Raise and untap islands. I'll F6 here just to save time. The only thing I could really be representing at this point is Disfigure. And he's going to swing in for 1. Let's see if he has a ninja here. Alright, and he does have a ninja. Alright, him having a ninja means that I will get to resolve my witches, and he gets an extra card, unless he has daze. If he has daze, probably going to use it right here. No, he does not. Well, they can block the ninja, and they can begin pinging whatever else he has. Assuming he doesn't have snap. Could have piracy charm here. I like playing the Spectre here. Will likely get countered, but he's going to play the Spell Stutter, so I might as well kill one of his fairies in response, and then my Spectre will resolve unless he also has a daze. I will block his ninja so he doesn't get to draw a card, and I'm not upset about losing my Spectre because I would be using my witches to ping off his creatures anyways. Looks like he might have another ninja. Alright, so I know he has the Spell Stutter back in his hand. I probably should have targeted that one instead of the Cloud of Fairies. And now my options are play my Horror, or I could attack with the witches and use the ninjutsu ability, but I want to keep them in play so we don't give him an opportunity to counter it. And let's see. He's also representing possible just flat out counterspell. I will play this guy. It resolves. And now I will just kill the Delver right here before it gets a possibility of flipping. So I'm at 10. Hopefully I will resolve this Tendrils of Corruption and gain some life. Two cards in hand. One card is a Spell Stutter. The other card is an Unknown. Now that brings Gary online, and let's see. He could potentially have a counterspell. I like pinging the witches here and edicting him. Then he might bring in the Spell Stutter to sacrifice that as opposed to the ninja. But that gets him low enough on cards. So I go down to 8 here. Now my options, I could also attack and then ninjutsu in my shinobi, but I'd rather edict him here. Make him either counter it or bring out the Spell Stutter to sacrifice. Now I will play this guy. Let's see, does he have days here? We'll exclude. Alright. I do not want to attack and leave myself open for him hitting me for 2 and drawing a card. He's taking a long time, which probably means he's seen some interesting things off the brainstorm and he's really planning out the rest of the game. But if he lets me stabilize here, it's going to be hard for him to win because his game is much more of an aggro control, whereas the long game favors me. And he snaps that back so he can hit me with the ninja and draw another card. Alright, so I get the edict here. I have the tendrils if I'm really worried about my life total. And I already have the witches in play. I will just edict him and see what happens. He has 2 cards, could easily be counterspell. And one is counterspell. And that's the advantage of playing my lower mana cards here, is that he's spending his counters, but I get to cast 2 cards instead of 1. So I will just play the long game here. I'm at 5, where I have 2 Gray Merchants in hand and tendrils. So he's summoning another ninja, which makes, and he plays lands. Now I know he has no counters available, and no matter what I do, it will resolve. So I'm just going to play a Gray Merchant and gain some life. That is a 5-point drain right there. And I will attack just because I do not believe he will block, so it's a free 2 points of damage. A decent amount of his draws right now are more or less dead draws because of the witches. If he draws Cloud of Fairies, he can cycle them. But he just drew another island, which means that this game is probably close to being wrapped up because I get to play another Gray Merchant here. I will swing. He may actually double block a Gray Merchant just to kill him, or block here because his life is so low now. He's at 6. And he's probably going to double block that Gray Merchant, which means I'll get to kill one of them. And he takes 2, going to 4. And it looks like I will probably be winning next turn. And he's drawn 3 islands in a row, so he got terribly unlucky there. And now we are 1-0. Hopefully we will get 2 more wins in this daily and we will be in the prizes.